Om. In this video, I'm going to share a very fascinating story with this man here, Jerod Shelby, and his car, the SCC Tuatara. I was watching a video on YouTube about this car, and something about the name of this car struck my ears, and I had to go and look it up. So one of the ways I learn and study numerology is by looking up things I see on TV and all this stuff. So let's take a look at this. So the first thing I did was look at the name. I said, Tuatara, what does that create? Look at that, it's a 19. 19 is a very auspicious number. It's one of the most fortunate of all the compound numbers in Chaldean numerology. It's called the Prince of Heaven. It's associated in the ancient texts of the power to conquer the three worlds. It's also considered to have the Midas touch. Whatever it touches turns to gold. That's because 1 and 9 is the alpha and the omega. So it has both the energy or the intelligence to initiate and see a beginning, but also the end of that trajectory. And therefore it knows how to start something that will bear fruit. And so it's a very, very powerful number. Now, it's interesting how they came to this name, because we're going to look at Jerod Shelby's chart in a moment. But first, if you look at the number pyramid of Tuatara, which is just taking the letters, coding them with their numbers, and then adding them together until they go up. So 4 plus 6 is 10, 6 plus 1, 7, so on and so forth. Look at the end of the pyramid. This is the most important number in the pyramid. This is the compound 19, 10 again. And that's where I said, this is either a really, really good coincidence, or they're definitely using numerology. And having studied many Fortune 500 companies and other companies that are not Fortune 500 and people, it becomes very clear that they are definitely using numerology. That's why J.P. Morgan, the famous banker, said, millionaires aren't using astrology, billionaires are. But it's also not just astrology, it is numerology. And in fact, astrology is a form of numerology after all. Now, the official name of this car is the SCC Tuatara. And look at this. It creates a 28-1. And that 28-1, again, studying Fortune 500 companies, it's called the billionaire number because when they do statistics analysis of the billionaires, Elon Musk born on 28th, Bill Gates born on 28th, Jeff Bezos, I believe, married at 28. I believe Vladimir Putin also married at 28, and I believe he was born on the 280th day. It's the number that is mostly the most common number associated with these wealthy people, and the Fortune 500 companies are using it. Coca-Cola, Google, to name a few, many, many, many of them. So it's interesting how it just so happened to create this 19. Here you have a 91 that creates this 28-1 here. And look at the personality number. This is how this energy is perceived, 19-1. It's a very bright and optimistic, sometimes called the rising sun. It's a very, very auspicious number. In the tarot deck, it's represented as the sun. It's called the card the sun. And if you get the sun card to any of your readings, it's associated with as a very positive omen and indication. But let's dive a little deeper. This is where the rabbit hole started getting deeper. Here is Jerod Shelby's chart. This is the founder of the company, who's also an engineer. And look at his name. What do we see? Jerod Shelby, 19 and a 19. Very, very interesting. But this is when I started looking at this gentleman's chart, and I found some very, very interesting things. That tells me that either, again, his parents were using numerology when they named him, or this is a lucky, lucky coincidence, like getting struck by lightning multiple times on the same day. Before we go into that, as a business numerologist, I want to bring to your attention as well, he founded his company in 1998. That was so he's born in the year of the monkey. He founded the company in the year of the tiger. Tiger and monkey are enemies. And what happened to his company in 1998 was he had a dispute from the original company, the Carroll Shelby company. His company was called like Shelby Sports Cars, SCC. I forget the exact name. But the moral of the story is he was forced to change his name of the company in 2012 after settling with this other company as well. So he had to pay them off. He had legal issues with them. Thankfully for him, and very quite interestingly, he refounded the company, or renamed the company, which is very similar, in the year of I think it was the rat, or sorry, it was the year of the dragon or rat. I can't remember. There's a lot of things, but it was in best friends. So monkeys, the best friend triad of the monkey is the dragon and the rat. So he founded it, and now he's had a lot of success with this company. The Tuatara, that car I mentioned, which is this car right here. They made 100. They're promising 100 of them. All slots apparently got taken up, and the car is a hypercar. It's being sold for 1.66 million. So that's quite a bit of a change. So doing very, very well. Not the only hypercar they have. But let's go back into his chart here and see something interesting. First of all, in 2020, there was a claim made against the Tuatara, which they released this in 2020. This is a date here, where they claimed to hit 331 miles per hour because their goal was to be the fastest production car in the entire world. Well, there was a lot of disputes with this, and people were saying that the video footage and everything was inaccurate. Well, they ended up announcing later on that the video was in fact inaccurate, and it was called into question. Now, if you look at these dates, they're very, very interesting because both of them end into a life path number 6. So let's take the first date, October 10th. Just click pull it up. Here we have 10/10. Look at that, life path number 6. And the same if we do 28th, when they end up announcing that they made a mistake, also a 6 life path. And if you notice, going back to the 10, it's both the same. If you conjugate this life path number and the 1, you create a 16. 16 is known as the shattered citadel. It's the number of loss. It's a number of humiliation. It's not a very auspicious number for material things. And so it just so happens that that was released. But let's go into his chart and see what happened, what's going on here. Number 1, he has the 16-7 in 3 prominent places in his chart. Before I get back into the rest of the cool things about his name, his main energy of what he attracts, his personality, how he's perceived, and also what he focuses on, and his outer psyche all have these 16-7s, which I found very, very interesting. And there's more stuff, but I want to look at also quickly his euros and show how this was seen as euros. So he was in a destiny rhythm of a number 3. 3 and 6, depending on who you talk to, are inimical because 3, like in Vedic astrology, is Jupiter, 6 is Venus. Jupiter is the guru of the gods, Venus is the guru of the demons, which is Jupiter is about the spiritual consciousness, Venus is about the material pleasure consciousness, and therefore they are kind of polar opposites in the way that they act. So he was in a 3 destiny rhythm, and he made that announcement again when it was a 6 life path, which is here. Both the 6 life path. Now you see the 16-7. It's interesting because he was at the age of 52, which means that 7 energy was prominent and active in his chart. And if we look at the over here at the chart here, it's very interesting. He's got this 87, 55, and 67. So 87 is an interesting number. It's got a spectrum. It's either divine intervention or it's a haunting. It's some sort of negative influence, negative forces. 55 here is the media number, and 6713 is like 13-4 is called the death card in tarot. It's a number associated with upheaval and transformation. And we look at the year, it's a 2020, so it's a 4 universal year. Now, without going deeper in this, because we can split this year out even more into interesting numbers that correlate to his chart, but we can start to see that there was a little bit of a clash between this 3-6 energy. We have the 13-4 here. We have the media attention with the 55-10. And it's interesting. So that said, let's look at his chart, and this is where this really gets cool. So this gentleman's chart, as I mentioned, whoever named him knew what they were doing, or it was a very happy coincidence. Let's take a look at this. He was born on the 11th day with 11 life path. Now, if you look at his chart, his name chart, this is his name chart. This is a full name, vowels, consonants. All these diamond charts are connected. This is based on his birthday. This is diamond charts, while they look separate, they're actually all stacked on top of each other. The top right chart is the bottom layer. This is the second layer, the outer psyche. This is the third layer, the vocation, emotions, desires. This is the personality based on the consonants, how they focus their energy into the world, how they're perceived, their charisma. And this is the name chart where it all crystallizes, the full name. So number 1, you can see as a numerologist, his day vibration and the full name expression, which is actually a 38, which is an 11, 3 plus 8, is in harmony. That's a very, very positive thing. But there's more. The name itself is 11 letters. That's depicted here. It's an 11 letter count. And the letter count influences what you attract and what you repel. So it's very synced up for his day of birth, which is the most prominent and important number, which is also his outer psyche expression number as well. But here's where it gets also very interesting. If you look at, if I can scroll up here, look at his name's Jerod. If you see, Jerod creates an 11 pyramid. And then if you look at Shelby, which you'd see if I could show you, it's also an 11 pyramid. How about that? And if you look a little closer at Jerod and Shelby, we can see it's a 19-1 and a 19-1. If you reduce these both, it's a 1 and a 1 that creates an 11 right here as well. Very interesting. Now you'll notice that within his name chart, he has a 33-6 mental diamond and a 33-6 solar diamond. And you'll notice that those threes are actually made of 21s. So here's your first 21, your second 21, your third 21-3, and your fourth 21-3. Why is that important? Well, it's important because these are numbers that are inside the number 11. And I'm going to show you right now once I clear this out. If you look at the number 11, we'll see that number 1, it has a 33-6 essence. Number 2, those threes are made up of number 21s. But there's more. The 19 has, number 1, it has an 11 as its outer aura. Number 2, it has a 21-3 essence. 19s, 11s, 21s, and the 33s. This name chart is perfectly synced up with his day vibration and his life path. But there's more. We can see, of course, that the 11 is featured here as his big personality, which is helping him to focus his high vibration 11 energy into the world. It's very, very positive because it creates a seamless path of success. So when your birthday is your potential, but your name is how that potential is manifested into the world. That's why names are very, very important. Because if your name is synced up with your essence chart, especially not just synced up, but as you see in this case, pulling out the higher potentials, because 33, the essence of 11, helps to pull and elevate 11 up to a higher vibration. It helps to bring out the essence of the number 11. And it makes it very, very influential. There's many, many positive things. I'm not going to go into too much into that in this video because it's going to be too long. But here what it's showing is there's a path of seamless success. Who he is naturally, his 11, is represented in his body, in his core blueprint, his patterns, in his most conscious vibration, his most surface level, which is his name chart. Personality chart is just standing behind that. And you have that 20/2, 11/2 here, which is how he's focusing his energy naturally into the world and how people are seeing him. You have the 11 letter count, which means he's between the 11 letter count and the name expression, he's attracting circumstances that are natural for him. It's all his vibe. Not just his vibe, but it's enhanced with the 33s and the 19s, which puts an extra auspicious, positive energy on this 11. But there's more. If you look at his inner psyche, this is his essence chart, which this is the exact same thing. It's just flipped upside down. It's just a different perspective. So these two charts here are the same. This is the most fundamental chart here. Now, if you look at, he has here, this is called 5813-4, the World Conqueror number. This is a very, very big number. Now, this guy is an engineer, so 13-4 is associated definitely with engineers, revolutionary ideas. He, as a 5813-4, this is the way his mind works. This is the core pattern of how his mind works, the mindset and how it expresses itself. This is somebody who thinks big and takes bold action and is a little bit of a black sheep in the way that he does it. He does things in a way that haven't been done before. This guy, Jerod Shelby, founded a company where he's making hypercars, and the way he's doing the hypercars is a very, very unique way. He's kind of challenging the status quo, and he's really going for big, bold actions where he's trying to make the fastest production car that's possible. This is very much a 5813-4. Now, what's interesting about that is The 5813.4 is mirrored here. In fact, his complete essence chart, if you see it, is completely mirrored in his vocation chart. It's 1-to-1, exactly the same, down to even the pillar 24-6 and 24-6, which, by the way, is his year. Now back to that 3 we mentioned, 3 here in the month position. 3 is often considered, well, sorry, not 3 in general, but the month position is sometimes considered the lesson number. It's a number that is associated with what they're kind of learning in this life. It's interesting that this 3-6 clash occurred during this whole dispute thing, which was connected into his lesson in this life. That said, let's continue on here. This is fascinating. So the essence chart mirrored in vocation, that means that his essence chart, inner psyche, is who he is beneath all the layers. That's the bottom of him, his incarnation, his way he is in this life, the way he was designed. The vocation chart, built on the vowels of the name, is showing his desires, how he feels inside, his subtle thoughts, and what he's, in this case, in the mental here, what he's consciously longing for. What's the vibration there, which is then focused, of course, in this chart. But this is showing that who he is and how he desires and approach and wants to achieve in the world through this vocation chart, his desire, is 1-to-1, giving him a seamless integration of who he is becoming his actual desire, which means this guy is destined for really, really big success. Generally speaking, you could say that. And here's the deal with that 5813.4 as an example. That's a really big number. One of the things about that number is if you don't think big and take big steps, it can make you feel very, very like a victim. It's like the energy, it needs to grow, it needs to go big, or it just kind of shuts down and it can feel like a black sheep where it's nothing's ever good enough, and it's very, very argumentative, and it's just not happy. So because his chart is set up this way, there's no dissonance here. So it's just like a nice, seamless expression. Now, is this guy successful? I think this picture speaks for itself. This is the car he designed. This is his own company. He's got Jay Leno and celebrities all talking about his car. He's got 1.6 million per car. He's got 100 units sold. That's like 160 million, if my math is correct. My mind is so full of numbers, I'm not even going to try to do that on the spot. But you get the idea. So this is a good example. There's 2 main takeaways in this video. I'll start to wrap it up here. Number 1, having the right name for your person is the first step before we get into companies. So I do both personal name numerology, it's one of my specialties, and also business numerology, and I'm actively studying and using both in my practice. Having your essence chart as your seed potential and having the right name that modulates that in a beautiful way, like this gentleman here. It's not only synced up, but it's bringing out excellent qualities from his essence chart, is a recipe for success. Now, when you're set up like this and then you go and found a company, what you want to do with that company is then put your vibrations and make another seamless integration into that company. And that's done through 2 primary ways. Number 1 is selecting the right date to found and launch the company. That's the most important. And then from that, you have to pair the right name with that date to get the maximum effect. And who's doing this? Fortune 500 companies, people like JP Morgan. They know this stuff because this is information that's being used in the so-called elite circles. If you study Hollywood, if you study the corporations, they are all using numerology. When they're releasing movies, how they're naming the movies, the corporation names themselves when they're founding them. I have currently at least 1 case study at the time of recording this video on Coca-Cola on my Substack. And if you're not on my Substack, you got to go check it out. That's where I'm dropping all my main case studies. And you can check it out in the archives. This is substack.com @Aumra, AAUMMRA. There'll be a link around this if you're not currently watching this on Substack. Coca-Cola is by far the most impressive example I have seen for business numerology, of picking a specific date, which, by the way, the year that they selected to launch that company, somebody was paying attention, because that year, to get that energy the same way it was when they launched, is not available again until the year 2705. That's the earliest next time you can even get to touch that. Not only do they pick this amazing date, super date, but they picked the perfect name to put and pull out the potential of that date and make Coca-Cola, which is like the longest running, most recognizable brand in the world, multiple billions of dollars of profit since the 1800s, extremely successful. And there's reasons, there's formulas for this. So, if you are somebody who is interested and you're already taking action, you're already investing in yourself, this is the edge that you need, because here's the deal. You see these numbers, they're not just numbers, these are vibrations. And what people often miss with the names is this is the name chart. People will say, oh, let me just pick a cool name number. But you're going to miss all the sub vibrations. And this is where the make or break happens. And also the pyramids. And there's many subtle calculations that goes into fine tuning a name. It's like tuning the most complex instrument you can possibly imagine. And you need to have a professional do this for you. But if you're somebody who's already investing in himself, you're doing self-help, you're taking action, you're setting and achieving goals, and you're looking at going to the next level, I highly recommend you explore a name change or name alteration. Because then the next step in this is when you are starting to found companies or launching programs, products, and services, or other things like opening bank accounts or naming trusts, creating your own trusts, you want to then take the knowledge of how to do with the name and then create the perfect date and name for those companies, programs, products, services, trusts, bank accounts, like this. And then you're getting, what you have is yourself is vibrating with this extreme coherence in a state where positive energy is emanating from you, where you have all this seamless path to success. And then all you're doing is transferring that into a company, which is a living entity. You can select the birthday and how that company is named, and you're creating a massive success formula, the same, what I call success symmetry, which is what I am observing in the Fortune 500 companies and very successful people. They are not successful by mistake. I am releasing a 50-page case study on Donald Trump. You're going to see it in that as well. That's going to be coming out around the 11th of this month. And yes, I'm selecting certain dates on when to. I'm using this in all of my business as well. So if you're interested, set up a consultation call with me if you're looking at getting a reading done, a name analysis, looking at even doing a name change, name alteration. If you're someone who is planning on starting companies, releasing programs, products, and services, looking for launch dates, looking to get that extra edge, because the name is vibration. And vibration and sound is the fundamental building block to consciousness and therefore matter. When you speak something, it becomes real. And the more people who think of you as a certain name, it amplifies it. When you think of yourself as that name, it further amplifies it. And when that name is established on your driver's license, in your bank, your social security card, your birth certificate, and all those things, it reinforces and anchors it into the egregore, which is the collective consciousness. So, set up a consultation with me if you want to go deeper into this and you want to take the next step and give yourself the edge to go to the next level in a way that is supportive and most conducive for you. Send me an email, leave me a comment, question, or feedback underneath this video. We can get in touch. You can also check out my website, aaummra.com. As always, wishing the best. Hope you found this useful. Happy manifesting. God bless.